He's run our county as a model to all counties in the whole country. There's not much I could say to make L. Brooks Patterson look any better. Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wanted to get up here before Jim had you all take a seat, so you guaranteed a standing ovation. But and this is like coming home for me. When I moved out of Detroit as a young kid, to take a job as an assistant prosecutor. I hate to tell you how far back that goes. I was an assistant prosecutor on a Democrat administration back in 1968. And so I moved to North Oakland. I've been part of North Oakland for the last over 40 years, and I've enjoyed every day of it. Of course, I've enjoyed every day of being part of Oakland County government. And so thank you for the invite to come out and talk about my favorite subject. Went over to my daughter-in-law's, this Brooksy, the boy I lost. I go to their house for dinner and make sure I keep my contact up with my three grandchildren. And my middle grandson there is getting to be a little bit of a comedian. When I walked in there, he couldn't wait to pop this one on me. He says, "Papa, can you make a sound like a frog?" I said, "Well, sure, Luke, but why do you want me to do that?" And he said, "Well, Mama said when you croak, we're going to Disney World." I said, "Send your mama over here." They're fun. They're great. Anyway, I'm one half of the program tonight. Mike Bishop was supposed to be here, but he's doing the Lord's work in Washington, D.C., trying, obviously, to get some support for the automotive industry. I think that definitely deserves a round of applause. And sitting in for Mike Bishop, because he's out of town, is John Papa George, his grandfather. Thank you, John, for being there. John's been around politics a long time. That may be a little bit of an exaggeration. I may launch into just a couple of things from my perspective. I'm at the county level, and John, of course, is up in the legislature. We'll give you a couple of different perspectives. We'll probably end up at the same place, because there's not a whole lot of difference between how we feel about the cost of government and the taxes being imposed upon us and the things that are happening that are topical, and the legislatures, we're sort of, fastened at the hip, if you will. So let me go through mine and take a few questions. I'm anxious to hear what John has to say, because I think we're both going to be hitting the same chord tonight. First of all, I came out here as a kid. I was a young assistant. I really didn't know much about Oakland County. Over the years, of course, I've become very, very acclimated to Oakland County. It's 910 square miles, 1.2 million people, 89,000 acres of parkland. And I also watched over those years, since the 70s when I was elected as prosecutor in 72, I watched this county emerge from this, Coleman Young used to call us the cornfields, and that was a pejorative. But, maybe we were, but we now have emerged as the epicenter of business and activity and commerce and banking. I mean, this county is the economic engine that drives the state economy. There's no question about it. We've been doing that for a number of years. There are 83 counties in Michigan. There's only one county in the entire state that sends more money to Lansing and gets less back in services. Therefore, they call that a donor status. We're the only donor county left, about $1.4 billion on the table, 1.4 with a B, billion, that Lansing keeps, does not send back to us, but they spread that largesse around the state, doing projects, funding programs at our expense. So I used to say to Engler, my friend, and I said to Jennifer Granholm, my non-friend, I said, $1.4 billion ought to buy us some respect. Ought to buy us some road improvements at the very least. I'm not asking for a lot. Just fix my roads so we can get commerce in and out. We can continue to grow and expand and create the kind of tax base which will continue to, we're the golden goose, and we'll keep laying those eggs, but you got to help us out. So we are the epicenter. Right now there are 300. Everybody measures things by Fortune 500. 300 of them, 300 of those companies have operations, physical locations in Oakland County. All 500 come right through here in Waterford, right through the Oakland County International Airport, and they do business here. And so we're clearly on the map as far as business community goes. We're headquarters to many Fortune 500 companies. Some are distressed. Chrysler, Kelly Services, Lear, Arva Meritor. I mean, we have a tremendous exposure with the business community. We have 725 foreign-owned firms from around the world invested in Oakland County, who employ about 125,000 of our neighbors. So I'm not threatened by that investment. In fact, I welcome it. They come from 35 nations. And if you think about it for a second, 745, roughly in that range, firms from around the world who are here. If you look at the state, that's about 70% of the entire state's foreign investment is in this one county. And when they come to this county and they hire your neighbors and your friends, that's good for us. But it also operates like a hedge fund, as I like to pretend. These foreign firms are at a different economic cycle, perhaps, than we are in America. And if we're down, they're up. And if they're down, we're up. So it balances out. It helps. It helps our economy. It helps avoid the troughs and the peaks of the cyclical economy, which has so often plagued southeast Michigan. Right now, we have about 41,000 businesses in Oakland County, and their payroll is about $35 billion a year. Now, it's getting challenged. It's coming down a little bit given the economy, but it's still by far and away the largest economy in the state and one of the top 4 or 5 economies in the nation. Because of all that investment, foreign, local, all those businesses, we now are ranked as the 4th most affluent county in America. Now, there's 3,248 counties, so we're in the rarefied air when you look at us compared, and that's based on per capita income. If you measure the income of our residents, we're 4th. And if you think about that for a second, what does that translate into? Is we got good jobs. We got high-paying jobs to be 4th in America. And so that's the kind of quality work and investment we're trying to attract here. And people say, well, how do you attract business to Michigan with its hostile tax environment? And how are you successful in bringing business from around the world? Well, a couple answers to that very quickly. The economists call it something progression. There's a phrase for it. Something progression. And what it really means is good news follows more good news. And if you have investment which is working and companies are surviving, more business will follow. And that's what we enjoy here in this area, is the fact that we have that kind of track record where people can succeed and prosper here. And the second thing is we have a unique quality of life. This is a great place. I mean, some of our best schools in the nation are here in Oakland. Number one academy is the Bloomfield Hills Academy, the baccalaureate institution, which confers degrees that are recognized around the world in Bloomfield Hills. I think it's more than just quality of life. It's our workforce. I heard a statistic today on the radio that I quote in my speeches. I'm glad to see it out there. Is the people who enjoy a 4-year degree in the nation, college graduates, therefore, is 27%. Michigan is 24%. Oakland County is 44%. We have an educated workforce. So when I go to these companies and say, we got a trained, skilled workforce waiting to take your jobs, waiting to put you on the map, it works. So we have all those factors, that really do combat the negative image of Michigan that we see now in the media, so often portrayed, obviously in Washington, D.C., but unfortunately around the world. All of this good news, all this investment, all this activity, all this business, and we're holding our own in a tough economy, translates into one credential that I'm excited about. We are still a AAA rated county in America. Again, 2,200. Over 3,000 counties in America, about 30 hold on to that distinction, and we hold on to it in this economy, in this state. And that's no mean task to go to. In fact, I'm going to Wall Street on March 30th. I'll take my team in, and we'll once again try to convince Moody's and Standard & Poor's, that's who we meet with, that this county is deserving of a AAA rating. And it's a tough sell, but so far, when I first elected in 92 as exec, we were single A, then went AA, then AA plus. About 9 years ago, we got AAA. And we fight like hell to keep that designation because it's more than just bragging rights. What that AAA distinction gives us is about $5 million a year, $3 to $5 million a year in your pocket in cost avoidance for high interest. When we go to market and we sell some bond issues, we go in as a AAA rated county. We have a very low charge for interest for borrowing, and that money we don't pay in higher interest rate is money left in your pocket. So there's a direct advantage to all of you. And we've worked out a way that the 61 communities in Oakland County can use our AAA to do their funding, to do their borrowing. So it helps every local community as well. So AAA is a very, very important part of what we've achieved, what we try to maintain. So